If you don't know what to do with your newfound Claude Code or Codex skills, I'm going to save you some trouble. I've been making full-time income in the AI space for the last 2 years, and people keep asking me to build pretty much the same 3 things. First one, most recently paid me a little over $10,000. Second one, most recently a little over $3,000. And the third one, I'm going to get to because it's a little bit different. I keep meeting people that are genuinely good with these tools, but they keep building the dumbest shit. Not because they're dumb or anything like that, but they either get too caught up in their own head or they just don't know what people are asking for. So let's get into that. Number 1, thing I'm asked to do more than anything else is some version of, can you make all these different platforms make sense to me? Because most folks have their operations strewn across like a dozen different places. So they've got their leads in HubSpot or Pipedrive or whatever it is, project manager in ClickUp, forms and emails and ConvertKit, storefront, Google Sheet, QuickBooks, their socials, and it's all completely separate. And worst of all, typically there are different people in charge of each of those different platforms. So if the owner wants to get any sort of sense of what is happening, they have to reach out to 5 different people. It's really difficult to like connect the dots there, you know what I mean? And that's on a good day if everybody gets back to you right away with a report. So what we do instead is we take as much as we can from all these different platforms and put it in one place. And a lot of people call this a dashboard. I suppose that's what you do call it, but I hate that word. What we're doing here is a little bit more in depth than that. It's all about answers and correlation. Did this email campaign actually equate to more leads in our CRM? The correlations there. And then the drill downs for like, you know, detailed information. You can get your sales reports or understand if you are over budget, under budget, like what is actually happening here. If you're comfortable with Claude Code or Codex, this build shouldn't seem all that intimidating. This is the easy part. It's what the pieces are to build this out properly that might be a little bit elusive. We're going to help you out. To build this out properly, you need to get the information that we want from all these different platforms and put it into one place. Contrary to popular belief, that cannot be a Google Sheet. That would be clunky as hell. And I don't want to talk about tools too much this video. There's a lot of different options, but I typically reach for BigQuery here because it's like Supabase but on steroids. And for this use case, you'll probably never have to pay. It's designed to query extremely large databases really quickly, and it's got SQL support. You get this set up with your Google OAuth like you do every other Google service, and then you're good to go. To sync these up, I like GitHub Actions for this because it's also free. You would just line this up when it's most appropriate to pull that information. So for example, project management software, right? Probably only need to line that up once a day. CRM stuff, maybe once an hour. You know what I mean? So now you've got all these different platforms syncing up to one source of truth, and the rest is kind of gravy. This is the fun part. You get to build out the front end, build out the dashboard. You almost don't even need to know how these charts get powered, right? Like whether it's serverless functions or something else, but like Claude Code, Codex, they can figure that out. The biggest thing is messy, disjointed platforms go in, responsible intelligence comes out. And like I said, this isn't theoretical. The most recent one I sold for a little over $10,000 Canadian. Number 2, the second thing I'm asked to do all the time is making inputs easier. And this is particularly common with service businesses, like any sort of field technician, movers, cleaners, like anybody out in the field doing hands-on work. And if you've ever done anything like this before, you'll know that the gap is reporting. Tech will go, do the job, want to pack up and go home, but the office has all these different spreadsheets or forms or things that they have to do, and then nobody does it. This is actually the very first workflow I ever built, and I built it for myself. This is what got me into the AI space because I was having trouble with my service business. Go figure. So I was actually running a moving crew and I was always on the road and I was perpetually behind. What I would do is I would go site to site to site, get all this information, and then when I got back home, I would generate proposals or estimates or whatever after the fact. Enough was enough, really. Like I needed a better way to get an inventory and generate a proposal on site. So the build was take a picture of the room, have AI with vision itemize that list where we could estimate cubic footage and populate an estimate from there. And that's exactly what we did. Image in, inventory out, and then estimate from there. It took no time at all. Honestly, this shaved my site visits down from an hour to like 10, 15 minutes. And I wasn't going and doing this in between bites of my lunch on the road or whatever. I could give it commands, right? Like /invoice, 4 movers, 7 hours. Boom, invoice, 4 movers, 7 hours. No problem, right? Something else I'm doing really frequently now too with a lot of service businesses is voice notes, right? It takes speech to text and fills out spreadsheets if people have forms. So the technician can literally show up on site, be like arrived at 8:15, left at, you know what, I'll just show you. How about this? Arrived on site 8:15, left at 10, routine inspection, check the compressors, check the site, went around making sure everything was cool, no errors, no faults, just a routine inspection. Perfect. Then we go apply transcript. Just going to make sure it punches in the description, time in, routine inspection. Fantastic. So then we can just go like finish visit, sign off on this, publish report, and then it's going to send it over to our spreadsheet right here. Right? Routine inspection, compressors, and site. This goes from your guys not using the software at all, right? Because your expectation is that let's say a plumber goes and finishes up a really, like a particularly heavy job, and then you expect him to go back to the truck and fill in a bunch of forms on his spreadsheets or take some pictures or remember all this stuff. That doesn't happen, right? Now, what you're expecting him to do is just describe what happened, even as he's going. So it alleviates a ton of friction, right? And it also makes your business run smoother because now you're getting clean reporting and things can work as planned. And again, this is not theoretical. I was recently paid $3,100 to do this exact thing. And there's a lot of other places you could go with this too and have repeat business with this same client. Like when you connect this to something like our first dashboard or their other platforms or whatever. There's a lot of different places you could go here. The thing I want you to remember, and what's consistent across both of these workflows, is we're not adding more stuff, okay? Stop adding more stuff. We're making the business easier to operate. We're taking what they already have and making it smooth. Number 3, packaging what you've already built for yourself. Full stop. I know that might seem a little bit obvious, but I can't tell you how many people I've run into that build something awesome for themselves and then immediately get hung up on like, how do I bring this to market? Or how do I turn this into a SaaS? And it doesn't really need to be. You can just package it the way that you've built it for yourself. And that's the thing. People have bought access to blueprints, workflows, apps, systems from me in the past. And the same thing, I've been approached by businesses and paid to set up systems for them. These all came from things that I built out for myself to make my own life easier. So there's no reason you can't do the same. An example of that is my Obsidian workspace. I needed somewhere that kept me on track, right? Keeping track of my metrics and my goals, my habits, what I've been doing in the day, what I have planned next, or I guess there's a couple of them now, but I wanted to have this all in one place. And I realized other people need that too, and they might not want to build out these different plugins for themselves. So that became something that I offered as part of my premium school community. Now it's grown into some other cool stuff, but like you can do this too. So whether it's through Gumroad or school or, you know, your own landing page, if you've built something useful for yourself, somebody else might find use for that too. So instead of like vibe coding some toy for yourself and wondering like how you're going to market it, start paying attention to the systems you actually use and package those for other people. Number 3 isn't a specific app or workflow. I might have been a little loose with the framing there, so I apologize, but I do think it's crazy important to learn how to package things you're already doing. So I'm really hoping that helped out. Maybe gave you some ideas or confidence, whatever it is you needed. I have definitely spoken to some folks that needed to have this conversation. And speaking of, if you want to keep the conversation going, you can click the link in the description to head over to my school community. You can join for free, where this is what we talk about. Not just how to build stuff, but what to build, where to find clients, how to actually make a living out of this, right? We're almost up to 2,500 members. It's a really, really great room. Otherwise, you can check out this video here for more cool stuff, and we'll catch you in the next one.